Hello, and welcome back to Menlo Atherton's MA-Aequora YouTube series. This is episode 3, and I am Sadie, and today I will be telling the story of Echo and Narcissus. This story comes from Greek mythology and has been told for thousands of years and has quite the impact on our society today, so you will see why. We are starting off our story with Echo. Echo was a beautiful nymph, and if you don't know what a nymph is kind of like a mythological forest spirit, kind of like a fairy. She lived in the woods, and she loved the woods and the hills and nature. The goddess of the hunt, Artemis, really, really liked Echo, so Echo and Artemis would often go hunting together and frolic around the forest together. However, Echo had one huge flaw. She never stopped talking, and whenever she was in a chat or an argument, she would always want to have the last word. So she was always talking, always being loud, always making her point known. One day, Hera, the queen of the gods, was looking for her husband Zeus, who was the king of the gods. Zeus was hanging out with all of the nymphs, including Echo, and Hera was really mad. She was really mad that Zeus was hanging out with them instead of her. So when Hera came to Zeus, and he was with all of the nymphs, Echo started talking to Hera. She started talking to her in order to distract Hera. So Echo kept talking to Hera while all the other nymphs were escaping so that Hera wouldn't punish them. Hera, was not a fan of Echo's constant talking. She really did not like it. So she cast a spell on Echo so that Echo could no longer talk. Echo could only repeat what other people say. So Echo no longer had her ability to talk. One day, when Echo was walking in the forest, she caught sight of Narcissus, a beautiful young man, the most beautiful young man she had ever seen in her life. She began to follow him as he walked through the forest. She wanted so badly to talk to him, but she physically could not get a single word out because of Hera's curse. So she walked with impatience for him to speak first, and she had her answers ready. Eventually, Narcissus kind of felt that he was not alone in the forest, so he shouted out. He said, Who's there? And all Echo could reply was, Who's there? So it just echoed back to him. Get it? Echo? So Narcissus began to look around to see where that voice was coming from. So again, he said, Come. And all Echo could respond would be, Come. So the sound came back to him again. Well, here are the sound waves. So Echo approached him, and she reached out her hand to hold his. But Narcissus blocked her away, and he said that he could never be with someone like her. And he was not interested. So Narcissus walked away. He left. Narcissus walked away and left Echo all alone, and she just stood there sadly. From that time forth, she lived in caves and among mountain cliffs. Because she was so sad, her physical form, her body, faded away. Her bones were changed into rocks, and there was nothing left but her voice. With that, she is still ready to reply to anyone who has called her, and he keeps up her old habit of repeating what others say and having the last word. Narcissus's cruelty in this case was not the only instance. He shunned all of the rest of the nymphs, as he had once done to poor Echo. One day, a frustrated nymph prayed that one day Narcissus would know what it feels like to love someone but them not love you back. And her prayer was answered by the gods. There was a clear pond within the woods where one day Narcissus came to drink because he was tired and thirsty. He stooped down to drink and saw his own reflection in the water. He thought it was the most beautiful water spirit living in the fountain. He didn't realize that it was himself. He stood there for a while, admiring his beauty in the pond. Eventually, he could not tear himself away. He lost all thought of food or rest, while he hovered over the brink of the fountain, gazing upon his own image. Narcissus began to speak to the image, but his image did not talk back. With everything he said, only Echo replied. Narcissus, unfortunately, died while hopelessly staring into the pond at himself. He fell into the pond and drowned. The nymphs mourned for Narcissus, for he was so beautiful. They held a funeral for him, and after they buried him, a yellow flower started to bloom where his body was buried. This flower is called a narcissus flower, and you may know them as daffodils, but these flowers started growing, and they have always preserved the legacy of Narcissus. So, that was the story of Narcissus and Echo. From this story, there are two words that have derived from the characters' names that we use today. The first one is Echo, obviously named after Echo the nymph, who could only repeat what everyone said. This is pretty self-explanatory, but it's like when you're in a cave and you shout something and you can hear the echo of what you said coming back to you. So that's basically Echo the nymph, her spirit, talking back to you, according to the Greek mythology. The other word is narcissism. Try pronouncing that. Narcissism. This word means when someone is full of themselves or only cares about themselves. This word comes from Narcissus, who was in love with his own reflection. A narcissistic person thinks they are the best looking and the most beautiful, much like how Narcissus thought of himself. The opposite of narcissism is altruism, which means you care about others more than you care about yourself. An altruistic person is selfless and always wants to help other people. Leaving this video, I want you to rewrite the story of Echo and Narcissus, but change it so that instead of being cursed to be narcissistic, Narcissus was cursed to be altruistic or concerned for others. How would the story change? Write your own ending. Thank you so much for watching, and please stay tuned for more videos to come in the future. I hope you enjoyed. Bye!